Good morning and welcome to Face the Nation. I'm John Dickerson. We're going to start this morning with the historic deal between the United States and Iran to limit that country's nuclear capabilities. Congress has 60 days to review the deal and vote on it. Friday, we sat down with Secretary of State John Kerry and Energy Secretary Ernest Moniz, who will face considerable skepticism when they testify on the deal this week in Congress. Mr. Secretary, Iran is a sworn enemy of the United States. Why should Americans, when they see Iranians dancing in the streets with this deal, why shouldn't they be suspicious about it?
Well, everybody should be. We're suspicious, which is why we negotiated a deal that is not based on trust at all. Everything that this deal is based on is on performance that could be verified, and that is critical. But look, you know, Ronald Reagan negotiated with the former Soviet Union. Richard Nixon negotiated with what was then known as Red China. You have to negotiate sometimes with people to make the world and your country safer. And we negotiated because President Obama thought the primary challenge here was getting a nuclear weapon away from Iran, and we believe this deal does that.
Secretary Moniz, one of the real opponents of this deal, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, said of the 24-day waiting period on inspections, he said you wouldn't tell a drug dealer, give them 24-day notice. They just flush the drugs down the toilet. Does he have a point?
I don't think that's really an option here with nuclear material. So the first point is that under IAEA engagements, they have no time frame for resolving issues when going to undeclared sites. So first of all, getting a defined time frame is very, very critical. There has to be a process to go through with the P5+1 to force, in case of a dispute, to force inspection. Iran otherwise is in breach. Now, 24 days, we feel very confident in the capability of IAEA with environmental sampling to detect any nuclear activity very, very long after it has occurred.
What happened, Mr. Secretary, with the anytime, anywhere?
We never, this is a term that honestly, I never heard in the 4 years that we were negotiating. It was not on the table. There's no such thing in arms control as anytime, anywhere. There isn't any nation in the world, none, that has an anytime, anywhere. And the truth is, what we always were negotiating was an end to the interminable delays that people had previously. What Ernie just said is that the IAEA has no way to end it. We negotiated a way to end it. We have a finite time period. That's never happened before. And we have one nation's ability to take this to the Security Council to enforce it. That is unique, and we think it was a huge accomplishment to be able to get this finite period.
Just to check the record here, Ben Rhodes, Deputy National Security Advisor, said in April, you will have anywhere, anytime, 24/7 access.
Well, we do, but we have access to Fordow, access to Natanz, access to these places. I don't know if he was referring everywhere, but on the access resolution of an IAEA challenge for a suspected facility that is undeclared, this is a breakthrough agreement which has a finite period that our intel community and our scientists, I mean, here is one of the foremost nuclear scientists in the country telling us that there's no way for them to hide that material or do away in 24 days. And right now,
if I could just jump in and clarify that, again, in IAEA world, it's very important to distinguish declared and undeclared sites. Declared, we have 24-hour access. Undeclared, we have this process.
But don't you?
Anywhere,
okay.
I might add.
We'll have to move on there. Secretary Kerry, you're allowing, as a part of this deal, a terrorist nation to get both conventional arms and ballistic missiles. Why is that a good idea, and why is that a part of this?
Actually, we're not. There is a limit on their ability to do so. Under the arms embargo, arms control, there will be a limit of 5 years, and under the missile, in 8 years. And the reason that we were only able to limit them for the 5 and 8, which was quite extraordinary that we got that, was that 3 of the nations negotiating thought they shouldn't have any. And we're ready to hold out to do that. And we said, under no circumstances, we have to have those. And they add on to additional mechanisms that we have to hold them accountable on arms and missiles. We have the missile control technology regime. We have other missile restraints on them. We also have other UN resolutions that prevent them from moving arms to the Houthi, prevents them from moving arms to the Shia, prevents them to the Shia militia in Iraq, prevents them from moving arms to Hezbollah. So we have an ability way beyond, nothing to do with this agreement, to continue to enforce those issues.